Hello everyone, welcome back to When the Night Comes. We have more investigation things to do, and first things first, if you end up liking this video, please like it. It makes me feel better about myself. Now, where were we? It's been a few days since I've actually recorded this. We had a mystery to solve. There's been murders and whatnot of hunters, and we need to solve who's been doing them. It could be anyone in this town. We saw some creepy twins where, like, the girl was definitely trying to keep the guy from talking about things. So, let's go ahead and head back into it. The graveyard looks so different at night, beautiful even. Fog twists and curls around my ankles as I walk, glimmering specks of vivid blue light sparkling in its haze. Thankfully, the darkness is a little more forgiving this evening, and something seems to be guiding me along and leading me right to the place where the murder happened. I'm hoping that I might be able to get a clearer idea of what transpired here the night now that I know who he was or what he was. What? I follow the path and see a dark figure crouching before a neat line of gravestones. There's no danger here, not that I can feel, but I approach with caution anyway. As I draw nearer, I recognize him. It's Finn. I'm no fool, and I know he senses me here, and he doesn't flinch, keeping his gaze fixed on the dark forest that surrounds us. Give him space or no warm welcome this time. We're gonna be fun. I clear my throat, quirking my brow as he stands and turns to face me, effortlessly graceful. Well, hello there, Mr. Vampire. There are no walls for you to pin me against out here. How will you cope? His golden eyes shine in the darkness, and he offers me a sheepish glance.
When good people are getting brutally murdered, my instincts tend to get the better of me. But I apologize again. I'll do anything you require for you to feel comfortable around me.
No mind reading? He shakes his head quickly.
No mind reading, unless you ask, of course. Or unless you have any particularly loud thoughts. Then I'm afraid there's not much I can do to help it.
Okay, don't think about his body. Don't think about his body. Don't do it. Don't do it, Ddog. Not allowed to. He'll hear you. Hear you? Yeah, he'll hear you. And that's not going to be okay, because then he'll get uncomfortable, I'll get uncomfortable, he'll turn me into a vampire, and then we'll live our lives happily ever after. Wow, that took a turn of events. A smirk hooks the corner of his mouth, and he offers me his iron hand, switching to his flesh one when I throw him a curious look.
Both are just as cold as the other, unfortunately.
Truce. I shrug heartedly and shiver as his cold skin meets my warm, his handshake firm. Truce. I really need to have a look around. I sensed something near where the body was found the night after I arrived. He pauses, looking as though he's trying to decide if he should say what he's thinking.
There's definitely a strange energy here. Stranger than usual, anyway. But I can help you, if you wish. I mean, if you wanted an immortal opinion.
How exactly can you help me? He huffs a quiet laugh and folds his arms across his chest.
Would an excellent sense of smell and the ability to see things your human eyes cannot be of use?
Technically, yes. I feign disinterest, a playful roll of my eyes as he waits for my response. I suppose I shouldn't dismiss any help, but how I know you're not the thing committing these horrible crimes? I've been told to trust no one more times than I can count, so tell me, Finn, why should I trust you? He offers me a wry smile. His sadness lingers in his gaze.
Freedom.
Freedom? He nods again, taking another deep, unnecessary breath.
I've been trying to become a better man since the day I died. My sire was a cruel man, a tyrant. Being around that for centuries does something to you.
Where's your sire now? Probably dead, right? If it's a long time ago, he's probably dead. He swallows quickly, rubbing the back of his neck. It's almost a nervous gesture, and the first time I've seen him do anything that looks remotely human or graceless. Dead. See, who knew that? Killed by the Lieutenant General. I owe Harry my life. He freed me from Levi's shackles. He pauses, head tilted toward the night sky, and he closes his eyes. A smile crosses his lips, something wicked.
I've done terrible things in my time, and I intend to pay penance for those for the rest of my days. Which, if you hadn't heard, is forever.
There are so many things I long to ask him. He's seen so much, done so much, and I assume lost so much.
So, To answer your question, I value doing the right thing above all else. Even if sometimes I tend to stumble a little. Metaphorically, of course.
I offer him a wry smile, watching him watch me. Yeah, let's spend some time with the vampire. I'd be lying if I said I'm not curious to get to know him a little better. Spending some time with you wouldn't be so terrible, I suppose. He looks taken aback by my statement, but he recovers in record time, a smirk that I've come to learn is quintessentially Finn crossing his lips. A smirk that has my cheeks heating.
You suppose?
I step closer, his gaze burning into mine, and I feel a shiver roll down my spine, the hairs on my back of my neck standing to attention. He notices. Are you cold? He's teasing me, so I decide to play along. Freezing. He makes a quiet little noise, one I think I could become quite fond of hearing.
Unfortunately, I can't warm you up. I am quite dead, you know.
I raise my brow at him, unable to stop the smile that spreads across my lips. Really, I didn't notice the fangs and deathly pale skin are ever so subtle. He pokes the point of one of his fangs with the tip of his tongue before he speaks. I find myself watching the movement intently.
I don't think I've ever been called subtle before.
Well, there's a first time for everything. He narrows his gaze, apparently contemplating his next sentence quite carefully.
You're different, aren't you? I like different.
I clear my throat, snapping myself out of his little daze I appear to have lulled myself into. We should... He smiles, wider this time, his handsome bathed in the moonlight, ever more so than in the artificial light of the shop. It's distracting. He's apparently quite distracted himself, and he clears his throat before he speaks next. Yes, we should. I brush past him, a little closer than necessary, and another shiver overtakes me as I feel his cool skin against my own. I head for the crime scene, hyper aware of him following close behind, knowing his gaze is burning into me. We stop at the charred patch of grass, Finn bending to pick up one of the bloodied shards of the shattered gravestone. He brings it to his nose and glances at me before he gives it a sniff. He is apparently quite repulsed by whatever scent he's picked up, and he hands me the stone, wiping his hands off on his trousers.
I suggest you keep that. That's not something I've experienced before, and I've smelled a lot of different things in my time. It seems off. If it's from a creature, it's certainly not one I've come across in my 600 years.
I throw him an accusatory glance before I turn my attention back to what he's handed me. I put it in my pocket for safekeeping. You can't pick up anything at all, so it means it isn't the victim's blood. He shakes his head. Definitely not his. Well, here goes nothing. I do exactly as I did last time, closing my eyes and concentrating, pouring all of my energy into seeking out that lingering memory. It's just as I remember, painful, loud, and I can almost can't bear it, and a deep, scared voice echoes in my mind. Leave while you still can. I feel a force pushing at me, but it's weak and nothing I can't handle, so I fight it and hold my ground. It's not hostile, but panicked. It's trying to tell me to go, to get out, and to run. That just makes me want to stay all the more. I hear Finn saying my name, but it's distant, almost as if it's underwater. I want to help. Tell me, who did this to you? No help, just death. You can't stop them. I tried. I failed. The voice quickly disappears, and all I'm left with are more questions. I open my eyes to find Finn crouched before me, his eyes wide, concern etched on his handsome face.
Are you okay? What was that? I wasn't listening, I swear it, but I couldn't block it out. He was just so loud.
I exhale sharply, shaking my head and taking his hand as he offers it to help me stand. I fall against him and he catches me with fluid grace. It was the hunter, must have been. What did you hear? He pauses, frowning and tightening his grip on me. Nothing coherent, just noise, but it was intense. That's never happened before. What do you mean? I mean, I feel things, I hear things sometimes too, but I've never directly spoken to a spirit like that before. At least that's what I think it was. I should go and find August. He seems reluctant to let me go, a stitch in his brow as he looks at me. Are you sure you're okay? I nod, regretting it immediately as a wave of dizziness overtakes me.
I've got you. You need to go and seek out Ezra. He can help you. Trust me. He's good with weird shit like this.
I contemplate heading back to see August, but I suspect they wouldn't appreciate me disturbing them at this hour with little more than a ghost story. You're right, I'll head for the shop immediately. Finn nods, still watching me and holding me close. Head straight there, promise me. I place my hands on his chest and Finn holds my arms as I try to steady myself. I will, thank you, Finn. I chase his touch as we break apart, his cool fingertips feeling so soothing against my skin. If you need me, don't hesitate to come find me. Ezra can tell you how to get to me. Doesn't it involve screaming? I remember last time there was like scream if you need me or something, or I don't know. I swallow thickly, nodding and trying to shake myself free of his haze. I will, I swear it. He turns and heads for the forest, casting a final lingering glance at me over his shoulder before he disappears into the darkness. Now I need to find Ezra, and fast. I hurry to the shop, still unsteady on my feet, and my mind is reeling. What the hell is going on in this town? I round the corner and see that the lantern outside the shop is dark. I didn't realize how late it had gotten, and I can only hope that he's home. I knock on the door and hear a loud crash, followed by quick footsteps. You are not the person I was looking for. The door creaks open and a face suddenly, that definitely isn't Ezra's, appears. I'm taken aback by the sight of Omen, his eyes wide as he stares at me. Are you supposed to be in there, Omen? He blinks, and a moment later, he's full of sheepish remorse. That answers my question, though it's difficult to even work up any annoyance if he's actually trespassing, if he's influencing me with his powers, or if his human face just that cute. Yes, I'm maybe kind of living here right now. Oh, really? He smiles shyly, his ears twitching, and he looks away for a moment. Is Ezra here? He shakes his head, opening the door a little more.
No, he went out. He said he wouldn't be long, but I don't know when he'll be back.
His eyes widen a little more, as if he's remembered something. Sorry, would you like to come in? I contemplate rushing off to continue my search for Ezra, but I would be stupid to miss a chance to find out a little more about this curious demon. I'd love to, but just for a moment. There's a little pile of cushions arranged on the rug in the middle of the shop and a handful of empty wrappers that I can only assume were once filled with treats. Omen rushes to pick them up and scrunches them into a ball as if he's trying to get rid of the evidence. His tail sways mindlessly as he sticks them in a small bin hidden behind the counter. He seems oddly at home here, so I'm assuming he's telling the truth about staying here often. You look exhausted. Have you been busy today? I laugh quietly, rubbing my temple, my head continuing to thrum. Very busy, yes. He nods, picking up a lightly glowing blue crystal that sits on one of the displays. He fiddles with it nervously. Can I ask you a few questions? I suppose, yes. I might not be able to answer much, though. Why? He grimaces.
I try to stay out of things around here. The humans don't like me very much.
Because you're a demon? His mouth twists into something that looks like it's trying and very much failing to be a smile. Something like that. I suppose that's fair. It's not every day you see a demon like him walking down the street, even these days. He's well glamored, but he's still quite obviously inhuman. In a town like this, especially one so small, I can imagine he's quite an unnerving presence. And that isn't even taking into consideration with what the murders and unanswered mysteries might have done with all the town folks' nerves. Ask him about himself. I don't know much about you. Where are you from? How long have you been here in Lunaris? His eyes widen, his pupils dilating, and I see a slightest hint of crimson flickering in his chestnut brown.
I've been here about 2 years. Time passes differently here for me, so it's hard to know for sure. You'd have to ask Ezra. He'd know.
I don't miss the way he so tactfully ignored my question about his origins, but I decide not to press him if he's giving me at least something. Yet, how did you meet Ezra? He lights up at that question.
I met him the day I arrived in Lunaris. He was the first person I saw, and he took me in without question when I was in need of shelter.
Ezra is very kind, isn't he? He nods enthusiastically. He's quite wonderful. Everyone thinks so. Well? He fidgets, dropping his gaze to his hands, fingers toying with that blue crystal again. The General, August, they don't like him very much, and that makes Ezra sad. Do you know why? He shakes his head, biting his lip. No, I didn't want to ask, but Finn says they've known each other for a very long time.
Ezra has been very, very kind to me. I don't want to pry, not about things that might hurt to say or to hear.
I mean, that makes sense. You don't want to, like, overstep your welcome, if that makes sense. I nod slowly. It's hard to argue with that, I suppose. Okay, what about the murders? Do you know much about the recent murders? Omen passively looks out the window, a sad look crossing his face.
I know that the humans are upset, and that the ones who were killed were hunters. Ezra is tired all the time, and Finn visits him less. Alcar is distant.
Yeah, Alcar is a bit of a fellow. He sighs, a knot forming between his brows.
Everything is so different lately. I don't like it.
His eyes light up when he turns to me.
But now you're here. A solution. A fresh start.
Eventually, Omen shrugs. The wind changes, perhaps towards shore this time. And he smiles at me, full of optimism and faith. His trust is almost sweet, but I can't in good conscience lie to him. I hope so, Omen, but it might take a little while. Right, yes, I understand that. He fidgets where he stands, his eyes flickering to the curtain that hides Ezra's living area. Can I show you something? Of course you can. One moment. He dashes through the curtain that separates the front of the shop and the back, reappearing within seconds, clutching a weathered notebook. Here, I keep notes on things that I find interesting, mostly humans, but also Finn, Alcar, Ezra. He trails off, looking wistful.
I thought maybe this could help you. If you need to know stuff about certain people, I might have something here.
Is there anything about me? You said you write things about people you find interesting.
That's right. Anything that intrigues me, I guess. Sometimes things I don't understand, so I can ask someone later. Human things, mostly.
I smile, enamored. He's so wonderfully curious. It's a nice break from the doom and gloom that the others I've spoken to have been emanating. Is there anything about me in there? He stutters. He stutters, holding the book a little tighter. Maybe? I raise an eyebrow at him, and he shyly drops his gaze.
Yes. Yes, there is.
My smile grows exponentially, and Omen smiles in return. The color of his The color of his cheeks is almost matching his shirt. What'd you write about me? His tail sways back and forth enthusiastically, curling behind his leg.
You're really putting me on the spot, huh?
I want to know what you wrote about me, sir. You wrote a book with people, and you said I'm a people, therefore I want to know what's in there about me. It's a logical solution. Also, I'm sorry that I'm like playing every single person that's in this game. I want to at least test out the waters before I choose somebody. Would I like a demon? Would I like a vampire? Would I like that really, really, really cute not werewolf? Forgot what he is. We'll remember that later. As long as it's nice, I don't mind. I offer him a wink. Wink.
Oh, it's very nice. Trust me.
I sigh dramatically, watching him watch me. I have a feeling there'll be more notes in his book this evening. Well, I guess I'll have to trust you if you're not going to show me. Never say never, Ddog. I feel a sudden twang of pain in my temple again. The sensation is unpleasant and it burns. Ddog, are you okay? Omen rushes to my side, the notebook forgotten upon the counter. He reaches for me, but he's hesitant. I can feel an impossible warmth radiating off his palm, but he withdraws his hand before he touches me. Because he's a demon, so he's like impossibly warm all the time, whereas like the Finn, he's impossibly cold all the time because he's dead. So like there's not contradictions, but opposites. I'm fine. I really need to find Ezra. Do you have any idea where he could be?
I don't know for sure, but he usually goes to the market or the tavern. Maybe even the catacombs.
The catacombs? He nods, leaning closer.
Yes, that's where the vampires are.
He presses his finger to his lips, a human gesture that looks out of place, like he's been practicing
I
it.
would try the tavern first, though. He did mention he needed a drink. He likes to drink a lot of wine after a busy day.
So he's a partier. He likes to go get some drinks, do some Chardonnay. He's doing some Chardonnay. And then he goes and hangs out with the vampires and probably, fools around with them and whatnot, if I had to guess. Just saying, that's probably where he met Finn, because he was drunk and they used to be a thing. This is all headcanon right now. Thank you so much, Omen. I better hurry. I bid him a quick farewell and head back into the darkness. I pushed my way into the tavern, scanning every table for the shock of white hair, and much to my relief, I see the friendly face I'm looking for. He's noticed me already, his hand raised as he beckons me over to where he sits alone in his cozy spot in the corner. His smile is as bright and as wide as I remember, and I take a seat opposite of him.
It's good to see you. I hope the town hasn't scared you off yet.
Have you been drinking, sir? I need to know this for, consent-related reasons. I raise an accusatory eyebrow at him, earning a laugh. Well, even if I was scared off, I can't really go anywhere, can I? Ezra smiles softly, but he seems restless. I suppose not, no.
What's that like? Being bound to do whatever you're told by your duty.
Lonely. I contemplate his question for a moment, wondering exactly how honest I should be. Well, it is quite lonely, especially when you're torn from your previous post and dropped into a weird town full of strangers. And murders, don't forget the murders! He winks, a sparkle in his eyes. And murders, yes, I know.
I'm sorry you have to endure that. Loneliness is a terrible thing, but you shall be lonely no more. We've got you now. We're here for you.
Who's the we? Because obviously you're talking about yourself, but when you say we, that means more than one person. Are you assuming Finn? Do you know that I know that demon is living with you? Are you talking about just everyone in town? Who's the we here? He sits a little straighter, determined. We? Ha ha! See? Exactly. He rolls his eyes playfully with a hand placed over his heart.
You wound me. Yes, we. Myself and Finn and Piper.
I don't like Piper.
Well, maybe even August, if you're lucky.
I laugh as Ezra grimaces at that, though.
You have people here. Some might be undead or just plain stubborn, but you have us.
Thank you, Ezra. That means a lot. He shrugs it off, running his finger around the rim of his wine glass. Told you he's been drinking. What you got there? Some rosé, some Chardonnay, some Merlot, some, is champagne a wine? I don't know.
We've all been lonely at some point. Some of us will always be lonely, even surrounded by people. But if there's the smallest chance that you can quell that with some good company, then you should take it.
He looks up at me, and I wonder how much a human exists. He's kind and possibly so, and I find it very hard to believe it could ever be an act. So you have friends here, Ddog. The barmaid comes over and rolls her eyes, hand on her hip, as she addresses me rather curtly. Drink. What should I do here? I'll have what he's having. I'll take a whiskey. Ale, please. Just water will do. Nah, let's do the I'll have what he's having. I gesture at Ezra's half-empty wine glass, the dark liquid looking a bit more than appealing. I'll have the same, please. Oh, you should have said that I'll have what he's having thing. She turns and wanders off with yet another roll of her eyes, and Ezra poorly stifles a laugh. Don't take it personally, that's Edna. She's notoriously, short. Hey, just because she's vertically inclined doesn't mean that you can make fun of her. I grimace, and as she returns with my glass of wine, I nod politely. Thank you, Edna. Edna grunts, turning on her heel and throwing me a dismissive wave over her shoulder. Case in point. Nope, sorry, that was Ezra. Case in point. The wine tastes rich, and I eagerly savor the first sip. Are you okay? You seem tense. I was actually looking for you. I need to tell you something, but I need you to promise me you won't think I'm crazy.
You're talking to someone who lives in Lunaris. Try me.
I take a deep breath and edge closer, checking no one else is listening. I visited the graveyard after I left your shop yesterday to see the crime scene. I tried to get a feel of what happened there last night. That night. Ezra leans in, his eyes wide. And I didn't really get much other than an overwhelming sense of loss, which is, well, quite normal considering the circumstances. People tend to feel such emotions when they're dying. But tonight, I went back, Finn was there too, and I felt something different. Different how exactly? I huff a laugh, knowing how ridiculous this sounds. I heard him, the hunter, the one who died. He spoke to me. Ezra's gaze darts around the tavern, and he sits back in the chair, running a hand through his hair. He wipes the look of shock off his face quickly, putting himself to rights. His voice is low when he speaks next, barely a whisper. You're sure it was him? I nod. Positive, he told me to leave and that there's no hope in helping. Ezra leans forward again, pushing his wine glass aside, placing his hand upon the table. His fingers are visibly twitching. Oh, well, we're gonna flirt with everybody. We're gonna take his hand. I mirror his movement and place my hand upon the table beside his, shamelessly needing comfort and contact. Ezra doesn't hesitate to take it in his own, his skin warm and soft as he squeezes it tightly. It's going to be okay. We're gonna figure this out together. I exhale sharply, feeling like I've been holding my breath since I left that graveyard. Thank you, Ezra. I don't know what I'd do without you if I'd only known for a few days. And I've only known for a few days.
It's okay. I'm used to taking care of people. It's my thing.
That's why the demon's there.
Besides, you're delightful. It's not like it's a chore.
Called me delightful. Oh, so cute. Oh, thank you, Ezra. I like your hair. He softens his expression and starts donning gentle, soothing circles on the back of my hand with his thumb. Ah, light caresses. His cheeks darken slightly, and everything about him is impossibly enchanting. I'm glad you're okay. I'm here for you. I'm more grateful than you'll ever know for that. Another squeeze of my hand, and we part reluctantly. Ooh, hello. Some red wine you got there. So what now? He curls his fingers around the stem of his glass and sighs deeply.
I don't even know how to unpack this, but I do know that you need to rest. How's your head feeling?
Overwhelmed, probably. I sigh, pushing my wine aside. Still hurting. Ezra fishes around in the pouch that's attached to his belt, retrieving a small vial full of what looks like a strange herb or flower. Here, crush this into some boiling water and it should help with the headache. It's just some feverfew and butterbur, completely natural, I promise. I take the vial and tuck it safely in my pocket. Do you have a pharmacy in there? He laughs softly, shaking his head. What kind of witch would I be if I didn't carry around a cure for a migraine? I should head back to the shop. I left Omen unattended with the kitchen cupboard unlocked. He'll eat me out of the house and home. I did check there before I came here. He'd gotten into the sweets. Shit. And that's definitely my cue to leave.
Whatever you experience today will still have happened tomorrow. I know what you hunters
How do you know that I know Omen?
How scary August is. Your report can wait until tomorrow.
That was a question. I smile up at him and he stands to leave. I promise I'm drained. I need my bed more than ever right now. Plus, I need to decide how to put all this into words. This has changed everything for me, hasn't it? Yes, I'm afraid it did just... He sighs deeply, resting a hand upon my shoulder.
Be mindful of who you share this information with, okay? There are eyes and ears everywhere.
Do you mean like Edna? I'm watching you, Edna. Over there with your glass, about to, make a phone call to another bar person. I don't know where I was going with that. Good night, Ddog. Good night. I stare out the window and I spot the first snowflakes falling from a star-dusted sky. Ooh, snow. Winter has arrived in Lunaris. My headache is persistent as I lay in bed, but nothing can possibly stop me from falling asleep after the day I've had. I finish the tea that I made with the flowers Ezra gave me, hoping it begins to take effect. I close my eyes, but just before I drift off, I distant whisper. My name was James. Hello? James? Is that your name? I open my eyes to the incessant sound of fist banging on my door. My head is still pounding, a fuzzy haze settling over me as I drag myself from the relative comfort of my bed and attempt to ignore the ache that had made itself its home behind my eyeballs. Man, I can't read today. I blink once, twice, and who's gonna pop up? I'm gonna guess werewolf dude. Shit. It's dark? Surely I slept for more than a few hours.
You better hope you're dead in a bloody ditch somewhere.
Ooh, August is pissed at me. Fuck. Hunter Plague, if you don't open this door in the next 5 seconds, you'll have to pay for a new one. I grimace, thinking that might actually be the preferred option right now. I went out drinking with friends. He's gonna be pissed at me. Did I really sleep for a whole day? Well, at least my death will be at the hands of something other than a ghastly creature, I suppose. Small victories. I look out the window, and it's most definitely past sundown. Lunaris is covered in snow, a pristine blanket of perfect white glistening in the moonlight. There are more people in the street than I've seen this whole time I've been in Lunaris, and they're hanging brightly colored bunting from between the crooked little houses.
I have things to do. Important things. I can hear you in there, you know.
The thought of opening the door and seeing August ready to tear my head off is less than appealing, especially when I probably look like I've been dragged through a fey nest and left for dead. I gather my wits and shout as clearly as I can muster. I'll be down in 5 minutes. I hear a series of incoherent mumbles from the other side of the door, followed by a clack of heels as they walk away without much of a fight. I get the feeling I'm in a lot of trouble. Wonderful. Oops-a-daisy, shouldn't have went out drinking. Oh, hey, look, let's go drinking. The wolf is full to the brim with red-faced patrons, all wearing far fancier outfits than the usual uninteresting garments they tend to sport. I also see August scowling in the corner, but I almost don't recognize them out of their uniform. They spot me, and I can almost feel my blood freezing as that ice-cold gaze fixes upon me.
We thought you were missing. I almost had a search party sent out for you.
Dude, it was one day. I'm a big boy. You could have let me do my thing. You look good. Okay, I will say he looked good. We gotta flirt with everyone here. That's the whole point. I catch myself staring as August impatiently taps their foot, clearly waiting for an apology, and maybe they'll be happier if I compliment them. They look different, more relaxed, and more approachable. It certainly doesn't help my growing infatuation with them, my infatuation with everybody. I'm a hoe in this game. You look different. Amazing, actually. Their foot stills, a dark brow raising what I'm hoping in interest.
I do.
A smile, biting my lip to prevent it from growing as wide as I'd liked it to. Yes, you do. You have impeccable taste, General. Thank you, Ddog. It's hard to find a decent tailor in these parts, so They halt their words, narrowing their gaze, apparently suddenly suspicious of my curiosity.
Flattery will get you nowhere. And certainly not on a day where you've shown yourself up so horribly.
I'm really sorry. I really didn't do it on purpose. They raised their hand, silencing me. Okay, yes, sir. I don't want to hear it. If you've attended this morning meeting, you would know that there's quite an important event happening this evening. It's called Christmas. We're going shopping. We don't have much time thanks to your tardiness, so bear with me while I explain.
We are in the middle of a crisis, yes, but the lunar festival is unavoidable. Harry
Christmas
thinks that if we postpone or cancel it, the town will erupt into chaos.
Yes, so we have to have our festival. They need stability more than ever right now, and the last thing we need is more panic. Lunar festival? A festival, while there are horrible murders being committed, that doesn't seem really important. You know, let's have a festival where everyone's outside, easily murderable. Trust me, I know it's abhorrent, to be quite honest. It's a yearly tradition that's been around for centuries, one that Harry holds dear. He's been distant lately.
We need our leader back. And if this helps, then I'm willing to play along. And I expect you to do the same. No questions asked, understand?
Aye, aye, Captain. I hardly agree, and I have more than enough of my mind I need to figure out, but the look August is giving me tells me that I have little to no choice. I ponder their question for a little longer than necessary for dramatic effect, feeling them growing impatient. Absolutely anything you need, sir. They relax at that, their pretty eyes bright as they stare me down. Good.
And between you and me, I personally think it's a complete and utter waste of time and resources. Especially in the middle of such a crisis.
Okay, I half agree with you. As much as I love the idea of doing fun things, it is like a crisis time right now. We probably shouldn't be having a festival. We can't have a parade in the streets when people are getting murdered in the streets. They sigh heavily, shrugging as if they've already admitted defeat. Alas, it's important to Harry that we stick with said tradition and show the people of Lunaris that everything is exactly as it should be. You know, keep everyone calm. So just forget about the horrible murders and my sworn duty to protect and serve the people for a night, then. Yeah, you got it. And I don't have a choice. Do you ever have a choice? Point taken. A rather loud cheer rings from the doorway, and August grimaces, running a hand over his face.
The festival itself takes place in the market. Please represent us well, Hunter. All eyes will be on you. And this is the perfect opportunity for you to introduce yourself to the town.
Can do. Do I get to bring a date? Who's it gonna be? Finn? Alcar? Demon Boy? Then they look me up and down, apparently unsatisfied with my presentation. You want to get changed into something a little more interesting, and I suggest you find someone to escort you. It would be a little odd having you wander by yourself. We have to show solidarity. Hey, I get to bring a date. Who am I gonna bring? Oh god, okay. Who do I bring with me? Obviously, we're not bringing Piper. Piper is a dick. We don't like her. Not gonna bring August, so that brings Alcar, Ezra, Finn, and Omen. I think even though we had drinks with Finn, or with Ezra, we're not going to do Ezra. So that means Alcar, Finn, and Omen. Now, here's the problem. Think long term. Finn is a dead person who lives forever. The only way that that would be sustainable is if I became a vampire. Probably not going to be the best idea. Alcar has problems, but he seems playful enough, and also he is kind of like a whatever wolf boy guy thing is, and that's pretty cute. And then we have Omen, a demon, which I actually have never experienced in any type of media before. And so, yes, obviously he's a demon, but he seems playful, and that would be fun. So I pick Omen. I think I know someone I could ask to show me around. Very well, just remember that all eyes are on you, so we're gonna bring a demon so that way everyone thinks that you're terrible. I didn't really think that through, now did I? And don't forget to change. I nod, smiling politely. Yes, General. Good evening, Hunter. They tug on an expensive-looking fur coat and head out into the chill. I look down at my outfit, sighing as I resign myself to the fact that I probably should change. The cold is biting as I step out of the warmth of the wolf. I head for Ezra's shop because that was the last place I saw Omen, and I can think of no better person to go with right now. Snow is falling and Lunaris looks beautiful beneath the blanket of sparkling, luscious white. I turn the corner and see Finn and Ezra outside of his shop, the mage light lantern flickering and fading as the witch steps onto the street. Makes sense, they would go together. Omen wouldn't have anyone to go with. He squeals as Finn shoves a handful of snow down the back of his coat, shoving the vampire playfully. Finn picks him up and spins him around once, twice, the brightest smile on Ezra's face, flushed, freckled face as he releases him. Ddog, you going to the festival? I am. Are you two going as a date? That's cute. I nod eagerly. Yes, well, I was told I had to. Willenheim, I'm guessing. Got it in one. At least you got a night off, I suppose. Cherish it while you can. How are you feeling, by the way? My head is clear after my exceptionally long sleep, but a strange feeling still lingers. I'll be okay, just a little confused. Hopefully I can get some clarity when I get to speak to Harry and August in the morning. They share a loaded look and I feel like they're keeping something from me. We'd better be going if we want to make the most of the festival. Yes, would you like to join us? Actually, I was looking for Omen. Another shared look, this time a little more playful. The demon? You don't strike me as the type to what... Ezra elbows him in the arm, causing the vampire to flinch. Yeah, don't be a dick. I was gonna choose you, but the demon looked a little bit more fun and didn't act like an asshole to begin with. I doubt it hurt him, but he plays along anyway. Finnegan, please. Sorry. He's inside. Take care of him, won't you? And don't let him eat any chocolate, I beg of you. He gets too much of it, goes straight to his thighs. I will, and noted. Goodbye, Ddog. Have fun. They take off down the street, Ezra quietly cursing Finn out as they go. The vampire slings his arm around Ezra's shoulder, throwing his head back and laughing loudly. I can still hear it echoing off the stonework when they're out of sight. I step up into the stoop and knock once before entering. And about then is where we're going to end it. Next time, we're going to take Omen to the festival. You know, have a cute little date with a demon. Who doesn't want to have a date with a demon, right? I hope you all like this. If you do, hit the like button, comment, tell me other games that you think would be fun. If you're still watching at this point, it would make me very appreciative if you comment and tell me, hey, Ddog, I'm still watching. I'm here for you. Love you. I'll be like, I love you too. You're very pretty. And you'll be like, yeah, I am. You're very pretty. And then we're just going to have a happy little time in the comment section. Now, that's pretty much it. Also, if you're not subscribed to me at this point, you should probably subscribe to me. You're like 3 hours into a game with me. You should probably subscribe. I'm just saying. Have a wonderful day, everybody.